Big question on WFM 91.7, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. You're welcome. It's another great day to be here having conversations on societal issues, difficult questions. We also explore different perspectives and we give opportunity to share your opinions, your thoughts on issues that affect our daily lives. This is the big question. It's 8 minutes past 12 o'clock right here. Today is the 26th day in the month of June 2026. In a few days, we're going to be saying goodbye to the month of June. And I'm grateful to God for the opportunity to see the beginning. And I got to see it on social media from a video when, it was a conversation around the workplace. You've met your deadlines, you're doing everything that you need to do right, everything is fine, or you're going about your day, and then you made a mistake. Maybe you were supposed to send an email and you sent it to the wrong person, or maybe you misunderstood an instruction that you were giving. You just made a mistake on something that you were supposed to do, and then your boss comes around and started to start shouting at you. Are you blind? Are you this? Are you that? Can't you think that? Are you dumb? Can't you? Different insults from the straight center. You, and then it becomes quite overwhelming. Now, my question to you is, if you find yourself in that situation, the big question is, do you defend yourself? You just keep quiet. Are staffs allowed to talk back at their bosses when they are being insulted? That was the bottom line of that conversation, and I wanted to bring it here so we can talk about it as well. Because quite a number of people are experiencing this in their workplace. Are staffs or people or employees, are you allowed as an employee to talk back at your boss when you're being insulted? Yes, you did something wrong. Yes, what you did was wrong. And then, your boss keeps insulting and downplaying your emotions, your self esteem because of the mistake that you made. Is it okay for you to stand up for yourself and say, boss, in your life, don't ever talk to me like that? In your life. Or you just keep quiet and say, no problem, he or she pays my salary. Or you just keep quiet and leave the place. What would you do in that situation? I'd love to hear from you this afternoon. What would you do in a case where you made a mistake at work and your boss, instead of saying, go and do it again, or something, or just there's a way you would correct someone, even if you're shouting, but you're not insulting the person. But when your correction comes with first grade insults and your boss is literally insulting the living day life out of you, insulting your family members, insulting your boss, insulting your life history, all because you made a mistake at work. Are you allowed to talk back at your boss? Are you allowed to defend yourself in the midst of that insult? Or you just keep quiet just because this person pays my salary, this person is my boss, I cannot talk back at them? I'd love to hear your thoughts on the conversation. This 917 917 07000 917. Are employees allowed to talk back at their bosses when they are being insulted? Are being insulted, you are being abused, you are being your self-esteem is being reduced. I think that's emotional abuse act without insulting your staffs or your apprentice or whatever it is that you have. Now, because in that moment, as an apprentice, I'm trying to think about, or as just keep quiet because wetin man go do now, where man dey chop, man dey suffer, or how did they say that thing? And the boss is saying, you're very this, you're very that, you're very unreasonable. Address it for me. I mean, you don't even know if the HR will do something about. Address it for me. I mean, you don't even know if the HR will do something about it or not. But what do you think is the best way to handle workplace abuse, especially verbal abuse on staff, on apprentice, on what have you? And this happens more with the apprentice thing. It happens a lot of times. They even beat you, Seth. I'm wondering, is that even supposed to be a thing in 2026, right? But how can an employee defend themselves when their boss is insulting them because of a mistake they made, because of something they did. If you were in that shoes, you did something wrong, and altogether because of a mistake you made, how would you handle that situation? What would you do? How would you handle it? What would you say in that moment to defend yourself, to take back your self esteem? What would you do in that moment? I'd love to hear from you this afternoon. I'd love to know what your thoughts would be and how you would handle that situation if your boss ever spoke to you in a bad manner, abused you verbally in your workplace. What would you do? How would you handle that situation? The number is 07000 Should you stay silent? Right. If you stay silent, that means you're allowing your boss to disrespect you. I mean, yourself, you know, small now. Yourself, not small. So why would I just wait and allow someone, keep insulting me all day, every day, just because they are my boss? But what would you do? I really, really want to know because this is something a lot of people are currently experiencing in their workplaces. No matter the sector, no matter the workplace, I believe that so many can handle it. And if it has happened to you, how did you handle it? What did you do? What did you say to your boss to defend yourself in that moment? Did you just walk away and just be like, that's your cup of tea. Anyways, it's just talk. It did not, it didn't do anything to my. Where you calling from?
My
Where
name,
you calling from?
my name is Aramide.
Aramid. Difference between correcting someone and insulting someone, or your boss is insulting you, verbally abusing you. If you say something, you can get fired and your salary will stop, your source of income will stop. Or would you defend yourself respectfully and be like, with all due respect, please don't say that to me. You can say this, don't say this to me. Or would you just keep quiet, go home, cry, come back to work with your makeup and just be fine? What would you do? How would you handle that situation? 07000 07000 You can also call 09155 917 917. I think it's even worse when your crush is there. You have an office crush at work and then your crush is there and then your boss. So this is something that's happening to a lot of people at the moment. Um, or maybe your boss is not even there. Your colleagues are there. People that look at you in high esteem. People that now your boss is literally insulting you in the presence of everybody. Your colleagues are what would you do? What exactly would you do? I'm curious. I want to know. Aramide has called us. She has told us, I can never take such, you and woo, because of our more salary. Don't tell me, don't do that. Right. Aramide just told us she would not take that from 07000 times. But I still feel like there are other ways to correct someone instead of verbally abusing them. Verbal abuse is not you're not meant to abuse someone verbally just because you've provided job security for the person. There are other ways you can correct your staff members without shouting, without insulting, without abusing the person's at work. We agree you made a mistake. It's a bad mistake. You're not supposed to make that mistake. But instead of your boss to just correct you and be like, don't do that again. I don't even think some things you would do, though. Some things actually deserve insult sometimes, when we do make some mistakes. But at the same time, I feel like sometimes you don't need to shout or you don't need to insult someone. Hello, good evening, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Miguel speaking.
Good afternoon. You're welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm fine. You're welcome.
Yeah, good to know. Well, at once had experience
Hmm.
that made me walk out of the section.
Hmm.
I walked out of the office because I had been insulted
Yeah.
and I could be very aggressive.
Hmm.
I love to give honor to whom it deserves.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So instead of I talking back to my boss, I'd
Hmm.
rather walk out of the presence of the environment
Mm-hmm.
to take a breath, then try to correct the situation if it's something I could.
Yeah.
But the other day I experienced that it was financial issues,
Hmm.
and I hate being having financial problems.
Yeah.
So instead of talking back, I walked out and I sent a message
Hmm.
and I told my boss to please go through it again.
Hmm.
And at the long run, he actually got to know he was the one at fault
Oh,
because he sent
can
someone
you
to my desk.
imagine?
Yeah. But the fact is, I would not expect him to go back to correct himself in the presence of the other staff.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
when others came to me, I had to explain that it's nothing to worry about, that
Hmm.
I'd iron is out and
Hmm.
everything is being sorted.
Hmm.
Because there's something I do think of. Then while I was working anyway, I always tried to learn how to absorb issues
Yeah,
because I felt I was going to have my own sector and I wouldn't want my subordinates or my staff to talk back on me because what
exactly.
goes around comes
It
around.
comes around, exactly. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Then
Calling. She does give a very to do it, and then you walk out respectfully, right? And then you go back to handle the situation. You see, she was not the boss. It doesn't mean you're no. Nobody should be verbally abused. Nobody should be spoken to in a bad manner. Everybody should be respected at their level, right? Very, very important. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was really profound. She also mentioned the fact that after the abuse or the insult is done, they would not go back to meet your colleagues to say, "Oh, this is not what happened." Though they would probably just apologize to you in private, but you were insulted in public. So it's best that you don't shout at your staffs. And if you were ever, if they ever shout at you in the presence of everyone, respectfully walk out of the premises to control your temper, to not do something that you would regret at the end of the day, and then address the matter later. All right, we have a message here, and this one says, I beg, no paycheck is worth my mental health or family honor. I will tell the caller to walk away immediately. If a boss can insult your parents, they don't value your life. Don't quit. Quit today. God will provide. Okay, oh, okay, that's from Benson from Ikotu. He says God will provide, but this is Nigeria. There's no God have mercy. The dub is plenty. Let's not say anything else. But God will help us at the end of the day. Don't shout at your boss, oh, I beg. Just do it respectfully. There are respectful ways to have conversations. And you, as the boss, please don't shout at your co-workers. There are better ways to address issues rather than shouting. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon on the big question. I hope you learned something and I hope you had a great time listening to me right here on the show. Join me next week, Monday by 12:05 p.m. On Women Radio 91.7. Thank you so much for joining me. Join me next week, Thursday, next week, Monday, next week, Wednesday, and next week, Friday for another time on the big question. Till then, my name is Finfunwa Kirami. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye for now.